Hello, welcome to another video. Today, just a rant. Need to rant. I know whenever I talk about football and Eagles, it's really hit or miss if people watch it. But Sunday night, watch the Eagles today. If you don't know anything about football, sorry. If you're new to the channel, I'm a huge Eagles fan. Clearly. And I know, sure, Eagles fans, we're a little crazy. We're a little, emotional, and it honestly almost feels like people that are emotional about their sports teams seem to end up being Eagles fans. Like, it's just weird. I don't know. I know people are emotional with all the NFL fan bases and other sports, everything like that. There's some emotional fans. Throughout the years, I've turned more and more into being a more diehard kind of Eagles fan. I remember way back watching Nick Foles, his first go with the Eagles when he threw like 7 touchdowns, I think it was, against the Raiders. And I remember them losing to the Saints on a last-second field goal. And then fast forward, I remember them winning the Super Bowl. I was in second-year university. It was amazing. One of the best days of my life. I remember the Wentz years. Was really good, really bad. And now we're in the Jalen Hurts years. Started really good, and now we're in the really bad. If you don't know how today's game went, they lost 33-16, I think, or something like that. Score should have been worse. They were down 24-0 from right off rip. Like, boop, we're down 24-0. Good luck. 99.9% of teams aren't going to come back from that. Could be wrong. I don't know, because there would be a stat about that, obviously. The worst part about today is that they had a chance, and then, of course, modern, current day Jalen Hurts shows up and turns the ball over. And I know people, like, it's weird because, like, Jalen Hurts does get a lot of kind of coddling. Like, he gets excuses, at least in Twitter that I've seen. It seems like it's either people that are irrationally hating on him, and then the other group is irrationally defending him as if he can't do anything wrong, and if something goes wrong, it's every other person's fault. He has been abysmal this season for how he should be playing, and 4 games, like, he didn't have his 2 best receivers or his right tackle. You're playing the NFL. It's not as rookie, like, people get hurt all of the time. Even more now than, in the past. People are hurt more often now. People are not playing for precautionary kind of reasons, which would be like fucking treason back in the day. So I don't really, like, obviously it hurts. Obviously you don't have your best players. You're handicapped. They still had their actual best player. Didn't use him as much, and it's funny how when he was used, he was by far the best player on the football field. Who would have thought? But I don't know. Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl run, everything, he looked amazing. And literally from that time, it almost seems like it's like the thing in football of someone will get hot, and then the biggest hurdle is the next year if they can even like come close-ish to replicating it. And Hurts did at times last year, obviously. He got banged up and everything. When teams have off-season tape, they can actually fully game plan. They game plan more around you. They understand more of your game. You have the great players that are paid $50+ million a year quarterbacks that Jalen Hurts now is, find ways to do that. Obviously, also with Jalen Hurts, coaching hasn't helped him at all. Nick Sirianni's a fucking bum. Hearing his goddamn after game press. He doesn't even know football, how he talks half the time. He's sitting there talking about Jalen Hurts' fumble, and he's like, yeah, it's tough because he's like throwing like this, and when he gets sacked from behind, what can you really do to protect him? I don't know. Be aware that they're there. The fact that Jalen Hurts evaded him 2 seconds before by stepping up in the pocket, and then he panics and fumble. Like, it just, I get that the personnel wasn't there to help him. But at some point, if he would have played really well and they still lost, They just couldn't quite get there. That's when I think that excuse is acceptable. Getting absolutely fucking clowned by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They weren't playing the 49ers. I mean, if they played the 49ers today, it probably would have been like 50. They would have got 50 burgers, probably 50-0. I wouldn't have been surprised. They looked that just pathetic. The Buccaneers aren't a bad team, though, mind you. But I don't know. The coaching doesn't seem like it's helping him. I don't know why. I feel like part of it is that they have the two good wideouts. They have a good tight end. They have a good O-line. They have a wonderful running back. And Jalen Hurts is good. That for some reason, they have this fucking mastermind plan of let's do a bunch of more complicated shit where just doing simple things, and it's worse when you watch other football teams just do the simple plays that always gets like at minimum 6 yards. Or you watch a play and it's like, oh, they always end up having someone wide open on like a corner route for like 12 yards. Never happens. It feels like it hasn't happened. It's maybe against Green Bay, they looked better, obviously. Atlanta game, not great. Saints game, terrible. Buccaneers game, rock bottom. And the fact of they're not there, but you have Barkley, make sure he gets the ball 80% of the time. And Sirianni talking about that too. Is like, oh, well, what do you want to do on third down? Let him make a fucking play. Run a pass route to him. He can catch the football. Half the third downs, he was fucking subbed out for Kenneth Gainwell, who's fine. Not Saquon Barkley. And you're down at that point. It's nice thinking, obviously the weather wasn't great and everything, so you don't want people to overexert themselves and cramp. But you're losing a foot. Like, they must have just said, fuck it, and punted this game. Let's get to the bye week. The defense seemed like they did. The defense is such a fucking volatile thing. Who knows if that'll ever be any good, but probably not. I don't know. I'm just ranting because it was so miserable. And this was the first time in a while that, like, it's been, like, this fucking miserable. And I had the realization, like, you know what? Jalen Hurts is not that good. He's just fine. He's good. Top 10 QB? No, not even close. Honestly, not even close. I'm sure Eagles fans might get pissed off at me. I'm probably in the majority right now with all this. But he continuously says, talking about taking accountability, he's got to be better, all this. And it just fucking hasn't happened for 2 years, or a year and a half, I'll say. Because he was unreal at the start of last season. It's been a year and a half, or a year, and it's been not fucking good. And seems like no answers. Even when they've won the 2 games, it's not like Hurts was this wonderful thing. He has to have a fucking perfect thing around him. Usually you don't need to pay someone $50 million to just make sure the great players do what they're supposed to do. Just get the great players the ball. You are a great player if you paid $50 million. And Hurts hasn't been great. He's barely been good. So, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm fed up. I didn't plan to make this video about the Eagles today, but I was planning to talk about Assassin's Creed a bit and just kind of give my opinion on that whole situation. So, that'll probably be Wednesday, unless I talk about something else or some other news happens. But that's going to do it for this video. Eagles give me a headache every single weekend, and it's just such a fucking miserable experience. At least this weekend was. And they're off next week, so, they really get to just sit there and stew in this one. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.